Howdy, howdy, and thank you for tuning in to WillcallMagic Chats. I am WillcallMagic, and if you give it a moment, you might see my co-host. He's snooping around at the moment. So today I wanted to talk about the new law going into effect here in Florida, and that's the permitless concealed carry. So you may have heard in the news that Florida has just passed a law. It'll go into effect on July 1st this year of 2023. There he is, Mr. Morris, my co-host. He's running production for us today, actually. So that makes you think, all right, well, I don't need a permit anymore to carry concealed in Florida. Well, that's kind of false, because you still have to qualify for everything if you had applied for the permit. So just because you're in Florida doesn't mean that you can carry concealed. So I just want a couple of things here really quick. This is from the Giffords Law Center. Last updated was May 15th of 2023. So they stated, the state is now permitless carry. A resident, non-resident of Florida is eligible to carry a concealed firearm in public if they would otherwise meet eligibility criteria for obtaining a Florida concealed carry permit. See below. So basically, you still have to pass a background check. With the new permitless, you don't have to apply for the state to run the background check, but I almost guarantee you, before I get started with all this, just as a reminder, I am not a lawyer. I am not an accountant. I'm not a CPA. I'm not a doctor. None of this is advice. This is all for information and entertainment value, but I hope you get some information out of it. And at the end of this, if you find the information valuable, I hope I will earn your subscription. So just basically talking about this is you need to be a permanent resident or person of Florida, age 21 or older, doesn't suffer from physical ailments which would hinder you from the proper handling of a firearm, still eligible to pass a background check. So anybody with a felony would not. Anybody who has chronic and habitual use of alcohol and other substances, they would not qualify. Again, you can check out the document. There's a lot of different things here. Contact, if you're more interested, you can contact the Department of Agriculture in Florida. You can look it up online. You have all the qualifications there. If you're convicted of domestic violence, especially several times, you will lose the right to concealed carry. So I just want to make sure everybody understands, just because you're in Florida and you're 21 or older doesn't mean you can conceal carry. You still have to meet the qualifications to be able to conceal carry. Now, one of the biggest things that comes to my mind, I remember going through the training way back when, and is if you're being detained by officials, that you must notify them immediately that you are concealed carry. And that's something that's really stuck with me throughout the years. There's several things. That's not the most important thing, but it is very high on my list of the things that I've learned going through firearms training. So even if you don't need a permit, I would still highly suggest, again, not advice. This is not advice. My suggestion, if you are being detained, immediately let them know that you are concealed. Things go really sideways after that. And once you do that, you follow every single instruction they give you. Some will want to confiscate or obtain or hold whatever you have. Others, are okay with it. So quick story. About, what was it, 9 months ago, I didn't get my permit on my vehicle on time. I thought I had till the end of my birth month, but it was my midnight of my birthday. So I was driving around a couple of days afterwards. I was going home from work, and I was detained. And, you know, you do the right thing. So if you are carrying, you know, concealed, you need to let them know. So, I mean, in that situation, no. I mean, she was very grateful that I notified her. She asked where it was, made sure she saw my hands the entire time. It was a non-event. You know, she gave me a citation for an expired plate. Explained, you know, whatever. But it all went down really, really well. Now, it could have gone sideways really fast, but we don't want to go there. And unfortunately, that's what we see in the news, are these things that go sideways really quickly. So my recommendation, again, not advice, because I like to travel around. There are actually, Florida now is the 26th state in the U.S. that does not require a permit to carry concealed. So there are 25 other states since 2005. And actually, the original state was Vermont, who never actually ever required a permit since the founding of our country. So I found that information very interesting. It's like all these other states, you know. But I do travel around a lot. So for me, I still prefer to have the permit on hand. You know, I don't want to run into a situation, be caught off guard, whatever. I'm going to be able to present that permit. You know, I do have reciprocity. I believe it's 41 states throughout the U.S. And, you know, but, you know, 26 of those states, I don't have to have the permit, but I would much prefer to have it. You know, it just shows that I've had the background check. I am a qualified individual. You know, otherwise, it just seems like you're asking for a lot of issues if you're traveling outside your state where you don't have to have a permit. So that's just kind of what I was throwing out there. Not everybody can carry. Not everybody is allowed to carry. Anybody who's under 21 cannot carry. If you've been convicted of domestic violence, or if you have a felony, or if you're you know, substance abuse, you know, you're not allowed to carry. Now there are certain qualifications, you know, 3 years after you've, you know, finished off, you know, probations or whatever, you can go back and request and see if you qualify at that point. It's not guaranteed, but it might be, you know. So I remember I did try to live in, oh, well, that'll be another story. That's a whole nother stream. So that was my New York story. Yeah, nothing happened up there, but I didn't even try to go for my carry license up there. It was just, so again, talking about going through all these, you know, traveling through different states, you know, there certainly are states that you don't want to get caught in if you are concealed carrying. You know, what comes to my mind immediately is New York, New Jersey, Illinois. So I remember a time I was going through Illinois. I wasn't carrying, but I was transporting something back to my father because we were going to do a exchange or whatever. I don't know what you call it, but and Illinois State Patrol pulled me over, really for no reason. He's like, "Oh, you know, didn't you see what you did back there?" And I'm like, "I don't know what you're talking about. I really don't." He's like, "Well, you pulled in front of that truck." I said, "Well, no, I was thinking about it, but then I looked at the speed limit and my gauge, and it was like, no, it wasn't worth going for it, so I didn't." Okay. But anyway, we had the conversation. I informed him that I was, you know, had a permit, and he's like, "Okay, well, give me permission to search your vehicle. In today's world, I would say, you know, what is it? Get a court order. You know, I would say no. You just don't know who you're dealing with, or 90% of the officers out there are pretty cool. He talked a lot. We sat in his vehicle. He had a canine in the back, and man, he just talked a lot. Asking me all kinds of information, trying to get all this information about me and where I was going, what I was doing, how my dad was, how my mother was, all this, it was, to me, it felt like, he just needed something to do. But when it comes down to it, he was just digging for information. He was looking for something. And he did call a couple of other vehicles. They showed up. They did go through my vehicle. They searched everything. I saw them, I drive a truck, so they were, with my tailgate going up and down, see if anything rattled in it, blah, blah, blah. It was kind of funny watching all this. So I had a good time doing it because, everything was on my end, up and up. But again, I want to trust 100% of our officers out there, but I would recommend, not allowing it unless they tell you they are. Then at that point, it's a whole different ballgame. So I kind of want to leave it there. I wanted to keep it a little short. I hope this information has been somewhat helpful. I would prefer, if you're going to conceal carry, to get the permit. That is just my information. Again, it's not advice. I am not a lawyer. I'm not a doctor. I'm not, I don't have advice to give. Just my opinion. I have my opinion, so take my information or don't. 100% up to you. Hopefully the information that you've had today will earn a subscription from you. I am trying to build this channel. I would like to get better quality equipment. A couple of videos ago, you can see the TV that I have. It died on me. That was after the fire that exploded about 2 months ago over here. And I realized I haven't been on for about a couple of weeks, and I need to get better at that. But it'd be a lot easier if I could do some live mobiles, talk about some of these news things that are coming up and how it affects life and morals and values and that type of thing. And that's kind of what I really want to talk about here. And I also want to be able to talk with you guys. So I want to be able to go live and have some long-form lives as well. And be able to talk with y'all. I mean, it's WillcallMagic Chat. I am WillcallMagic. You are the chat. So I want to talk with you guys. So hopefully subscribe, like, share, and I would really appreciate that. I look forward to seeing you again. I'll try to start posting a lot more frequently, and I appreciate it. We'll see you later. Ciao.